Tomorrow is Veterans Day, or Veterans Day if you're from Indiana and pronounce it like that. And then it's like Canadian Day for that on Saturday, is my understanding. So I found that out, that there's the 1 day delay on that. So we are here for the second session of 7th Sea Khitai. This is the game that is currently kickstarting right now, which I backed because the dollar value to get the PDFs of all of the first edition stuff plus this is incredible. And just wanted to say that if anyone's thinking about it, there's some dollar values if you like PDFs that are crazy good, and the material there for 7th Sea, the original one plus this is great. So we're taking up tonight. We're working from the adventure that's in that quick start. It's a kind of a minimal set of rules. There are some changes between 7th Sea Khitai and standard 7th Sea, a few minor things. Rich, I believe, is the only one who's played the original 7th Sea in that second edition. So he's the only one who might do that, and Rich doesn't keep rules in his head, so it's all good. He forgets them all.
This one has D10s.
Okay, there we go. That's what Rich knows about 7th Sea. Anyway, so we're going to get started here. What I'm going to do is walk through the events. So if this were a flashback montage for the previously on 7th Sea Khitai, we would see this. So the whole thing begins with Lord Manabe, lord of a castle nearby. Lord Manabe was out with his Yojimbo, and he was killed. He was murdered by agents, and I will come back to who sent those. In the attack, there was evidence that was planted to suggest to the bodyguard that, in fact, Lord Manabe's wife had committed this crime. So apparently she found that evidence because later she arrives at a monastery where she knows are kept two sacred blades, two spirit blades. She goes in and she takes one of the two, the death-giving blade, and vanishes out into the night. You found that out in your investigations. Shortly thereafter, a group of attackers sent by our villain, the magistrate Horio, the one who had arranged for the killing, the one who had arranged for the faked evidence. Those people attack the monastery. They burn the monastery down, and they steal the other blade. And that blade is the life-giving blade. And they head out into the night to take that blade back to the magistrate Horio, who is at, actually, Manabe Castle right now. So they go and take that back. You arrive shortly after that burning to see the flaming embers of the monastery. You see the magistrate Suzu, a novice, very young, very green magistrate who was sent by Horio, who she believes is an honorable head magistrate. She was sent here to see what had happened at the monastery and encountered you. So in the course of that, you were able to rescue one of the monks. You were able to gather the information about some of the sequence of the events, about what happened with the sword. And not knowing the nature of the situation, you opted to stay and bury the monks here. But you sent the magistrate Suzu to go and report into her superior, the magistrate Horio. So she took off. So a number of hours later, after you finished the burials, you headed towards Manabe Castle, following the tracks of these attackers, realizing that they were heading there, that things were certainly, all paths led to Manabe Castle. But on the road, you were set upon by Ronin, essentially Magistrate Horio, after he had received the blade, sometime after that, sent his people back to deal with you guys. Sent them along the path. They were waiting here in ambush for you. There was a head Ronin. You were able to dispatch most of the what do we call them? The brute squad of Ronin with no problem. You were able to dispatch them between the sheathed sword and the boot to the head and the bear. You did an excellent job of dealing with them. It was from this Ronin leader that you were able to find out about the faked evidence, find out about the Yojimbo, and find out about Magistrate Horio's role in all of this, and that he is likely still at Manabe Castle, and that bad stuff is potentially going down. Did I leave anything important out of that summary? Nope. All right. Look at that. That is a fine job. A fine job of reading the outline and writing it down. So there we go. So what I would like the group to do, our players to do, to introduce themselves and give us their characters' names, which I will forget and mispronounce throughout the course of the evening. So let's start with Akiyama Chihiro. Please tell us about your character.
All right. I am playing, my name is Matthew. I'm playing as Akiyama Chihiro. She is, her character concept is the daughter of Green Mountain Clan Nispa. So it's a powerful clan. She is directly in line to take control of that clan. And she is very proud of where she comes from. Akiyama is a Kanushi, so she is a priest. She is responsible for communicating with spirits and maintaining positive relationships with them. The spirits in this setting are Kamui. She has a giant bear companion, an armored bear that she often uses to kind of for some brute force stuff, but her very loyal companion. Yeah, she is very bold, brash. She is willful and stubborn. She doesn't like having her authority challenged as, you know, a rightful heir to a powerful clan, but she also listens to the wisdom of the spirits when she needs to and can be humbled by them. So that's her.
And she has kind of moved up between sort of wanting to push forward and also the necessity of caring for that. There's been some arguments last time that have kind of been settled out, some tensions on that score. But how is she feeling now about what's going on?
I think at the time, like, she had communed with that fire spirit and she was feeling very flighty and volatile and intense about the whole thing. So the tension was high there. But I think now she's kind of come back to herself, recognized that, like, you know, something horrible was done at this monastery. And I think she is pretty determined to, I think she sees it as a great offense that Horio has taken advantage of his position in this way. And that it is, you know, it's a disgraceful thing for someone in a position of power to act in the way that he has. And she respects, I think, Manabe family. And I think she's interested in, you know, she heard the story of his wife, who apparently came there dressed as a beggar and took the sword, or was that a bodyguard?
That was the Yojimbo.
Okay. So, but the wife was implicated, and I think she's interested in potentially, you know, clearing her name if it's a false accusation.
Right. So we have three characters. We have the Yojimbo, who believes that Lady Manabe ordered the killing. We have Lady Manabe, who has just found out about her husband's death. And we have Magistrate Horio, our villain. He's mustachioed, of course. probably keeps him in fine shape. When we see a shot of him, he'll be biting into an apple, that kind of thing, just to demonstrate that he's truly a villain. All right, so let's hear from Ishikawa Katsuo. Tell us about yourself.
I am playing Ishikawa Katsuo, who is a samurai who was a very deadly swordsman for a number of years for his lord, and now he is effectively Ronin, but did not retire to a peaceful life of writing poetry and tending a garden. He has decided that he would like to go out to help people and to atone for his violent ways. So while he is still a very accomplished swordsman, he does not wish to draw blood and attempts a peaceful solution if at all possible. He's also grumpy.
Grumpy. And he was wounded a little bit last time, right?
He was indeed.
And what does that wound look like?
What was the weapon he was wounded by? It was a sword, right? Because it was
katana.
So I think that what he has is a cut in his kimono, and a little bit of the silk falls down, and there's a cut across his arm that bleeds at appropriate moments to look cool.
And you dealt with this Ronin leader. What did you end up doing with him?
I have no wish to execute the man. He told us what we needed to know. I would speak with my allies here, but my recommendation would be to break his sword and send him on his way.
And we'll come back to that. Finally, Naoko, please tell us about yourself.
Naoko is a twice orphaned warrior monk who is compassionate, joyful, respectful, but very hot-tempered. And in her past, bandits I think bandits took over the the temple she was at, and it kind of mirrored what happened in the beginning of this adventure. So she is quite angry, and she wants some retribution for what's happened, because I don't think she got it in the past. So it's sort of like another chance to get that for her. And I think last time when we were talking, we said we were going to hand this guy into the authorities because they were going to kill him anyway.
Yes. And let me come at it and say, let me ask you, what is Naoko feeling right now?
Determined, I think. I think there's I think the anger has dwindled a little bit, so she's not forcefully pursuing that action like she was before when she was charging the officers or the people that beset her. I think she's still determined, but not outwardly furious and angry anymore.
Excellent. And where we come in tonight, you have a fourth member. That player is not here this evening, Zan, who is from Shenzhou, who is a kind of a diplomat, sort of investigator, spy master. And he will say, if it is a magistrate, this head magistrate that we are facing, then we need to make sure that that information is in the right hands. If you are going to the castle with this man's sword broken, I will take him and I will head south to the next clan holding, and I will deliver him there and pass on that information so that others in authority know about this, so this cannot be covered up. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think we would want to have, him scheming, potentially using his political influence, because if our antagonist here is a member of the magistrate and they do have a lot of power behind them, then we would need him to maybe, grease some palms or something to get the heat off us for a time so that we can, carry out what we need to do here.
Well, I expect you will carry out your mission sooner than I have a chance to speak with the authorities. But when you are arrested, I will certainly see what I can do about that. But and he said, but all joking aside, will take him with me, and they will deal with him, and we will have the evidence in the correct hands. And he will wish you well, and he will gather his things together, and with this person tied up, he will take the horse and essentially does that thing where he forces the man to run alongside, tied by the rope, to make him keep up. Zahn can be particularly merciless, and so he will head off. And it is still dark. It's not yet dawn, and in fact, it's cloudy out. And you're probably getting that sort of first drizzle of morning rain here, kind of overcast. Maybe in the distance you hear that slight rumble of thunder here. So I assume you three proceed on to Madanabe Castle.
Yep.
I'm rather tired, and perhaps we should
Nope.
Rest. We should rest, heal our wounds, get our spells back. That's what we should do, right?
Oh gosh.
I'm old. We should rest. Do we have to go?
It is not far. It is perhaps another hour to Manabe Castle. This is not a large holding. It's old, sort of very classical style, so it doesn't have high walls. It's a large estate, low walls around it. This is a particularly rich region. It is a ways away from the nearest sort of village / town. And you can definitely see in the early morning through the rain as it's coming down, hitting you on the sort of the tall grass that you're moving through. There are lights, lanterns on in various places, and guards sort of as stationed at the gates. How do you wish to proceed?
We will call upon their honor, and they will allow us in. Trust me.
Neko crosses her fingers.
I think I say, Ishikawa, you put too much faith in the honor of simple guardsmen when we have seen that even one with the honor of having the position of a magistrate can so easily fall to such impure acts.
Because of the actions of one or a handful, does not mean that we will all turn our face on the old rites of hospitality. I believe in the old traditions, and they will get that opportunity from me.
Fair enough. As you approach and grow closer to this, you can see that the two guardsmen who are at the gate, very simple wooden open gate. There are a couple of samurai there, lower ranking samurai, basic armor and stuff. They're not wearing the armor of Manabe Castle, though. They are, in fact, wearing what appears to be armor marked with sort of the judicial sign, the stuff that you saw on Sawa. So clearly, some of Magistrate Horio's men are holding the gate.
I was trying to set up, out of character, I was trying to set up that I have an advantage for the old traditions, the old rites of hospitality.
I know.
Allow me to request that, but it doesn't work on a villain and his direct underlings.
Well, I might have something that could come into play if we want to just approach. I have an ability called Imperious Glare. Why don't we just set this thing up in the fiction a little bit? So I think I think I say, Suzu had been gone hours before we took the time to lay those monks to rest. There could have been a whole entire contingent of men sent around us to head us off at the gate. Those Ronin could have been camping the forest for a time, but who knows how many that Horio has under his control. We should proceed, but we cannot waste time. But we need more knowledge. We need information somehow. We can't just walk into this castle and unaware, unprepared of what might lie waiting for us. Maybe I should ask the spirits? Or would you prefer a more direct route?
Don't you know me, my friend?
All right. Direct route it is. I believe that my position, my status, could earn us some clout here. Perhaps these simple guardsmen do not know the identities of who was fighting their kinsmen earlier.
And you do have the advantage that the people that you did fight weren't wearing the magistrate's livery, so they were probably his less, how do I put this, his less savory agents. So they may not be
his brigade on the down low.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
DL brigade. Then you can march up, Akiyama, bear at your back. Ishikawa, are you following behind?
Sure. Yeah, I will play the part of Yojimbo here.
Okay, and Naoko, they are walking up to the gates fairly brazenly. And yourself?
Yeah, I'll follow. It seems like a rash action. I like that.
This is maybe a little rash, but we will see where it leads. So you will move up towards them, and they see you coming, and they kind of pull themselves to attention, and they have Yari, the spears, and they will move to lower them to kind of cross in an X, and one of them will state your business.
My name is Akiyama. Akiyama Chihiro. I am the daughter of Green Mountain Clan Nispa. I am here on official clan business. You see, we have scheduled a meeting with the wife of Lord Manabe. These are important negotiations that must take place, and I do not have time to be forestalled at the front gate like some common peasant.
You are coming at an inauspicious moment. Lady Manabe has been arrested and is held in the tower. She arranged for the murder of Lord Manabe.
And you said that they're wearing the livery of the magistrate, like the judicial system, so they would be informed about this kind of stuff. Okay, then I think I say then it is even more important that I enter at haste. The Manabe family has outstanding deals with our clan, and I mean to see her as soon as I can before she's carted away like some common criminal. And I want to use my Imperious Glare and spend a hero point to use your authority, real or perceived, to cause another character to leave you alone, get out of your way, or dismiss your actions as nothing more than a tantrum thrown by a haughty noble. So it's a little bit of B and C.
Okay, so mark off the hero point, and you raise your voice, in that way that only someone from a court can do. That's that real pressure behind it that makes them, instinctively kind of pull their Yari back close to them, and well, you will have to speak to the lieutenant, and they pull their Yari. They're going to let you through. Somebody else is going to have to deal with you. As they're doing that, and it's still sort of early morning light, you will hear in the distance what sounds like someone hitting a gong of alarm somewhere in the castle. And these two kind of look back and they're surprised by that.
And I think, yeah, like, as well as me raising my voice, I think obviously Koinu, my bear companion, took a menacing step forward as well, and that helped the proceedings. But I think I basically just say, seems like you have more important business to attend to.
And they turn and they will start to move into the castle. So Ishikawa, what do you want to do?
Well, it seems that Akiyama has cowed them. So once they start to look around, I'm going to physically move forward. Like, let's move into their space. This is done.
So you and Naoko and Akiyama can move into the courtyard, and you'll see servants around and about, carrying out their household duties. You'll see more of this sort of magistrate guardsmen who are here. There's, of course, stables and like a garden. There's the main building, and then there's a secondary sort of guest house building. And the alarm seems to be going off in the main building, and you'll see some more of the magistrate's troops kind of doing that quick running along, trying to get to the source of the disturbance at the back of the main house there. So where do you guys think you want to head?
The magistrate is good as far as we know, right? Or he was the one that hired the bad guy, so he's bad too.
He's just the bad dude.
He's the bad guy.
He's as the apple in the mustache. He's the bad guy.
Okay, yeah, let's go for
I
apple.
don't know
guy.
where Suzu is, though, in all of this. You sent her here hours ago, and she hasn't even heard about what happened to her.
Right, and Suzu is
the young magistrate who helped you. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Suzu.
And so we sent her to meet up with Horio when we were under the impression that she was just reporting information to him, and he was a good magistrate, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And now she's gone. And there's like,
well, we just haven't seen her. She could be here.
And we didn't even know at the time that Horio was here, right? Did we?
Correct.
Okay. And so I guess
you have for her fate, you have nothing to worry about. I mean, you have no responsibility or blame for that, for what happened to her.
Right.
So where do you guys want to head? You could head to the guest house. You could split up. We could, you guys can move together towards somewhere. What do you want to do?
Well, this distraction might be an opportune time to get at the magistrate.
If we want to take a direct route, that could be. So what we know is that she is being held here, and it is known to all of them that she is responsible for this crime. But an alarm's going off. Does it seem like basically everyone is being summoned to one area? Are they all rushing into the main building?
There's that kind of chaos here, people not being quite sure where to go, but the alarm is definitely going off at that main building. So a number of the samurai are headed that way.
And like, yeah.
I'm headed towards where the samurai are going.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So you can rush over there. The main, throw open the main doors, and it's like a 3-floor house. I guess again the paper walls and so on. And even as you kind of throw that open, you will see several servants kind of push to run past you, and you'll see a body hit the floor, roll down the stairs, and you see one of the magistrates samurai just absolutely cut open, goes rolling down those steps towards where you are.
A bad guy.
Yes.
That's good.
And do we see who might have been responsible for that violence at the top of the stairs?
No, you're hearing noise, though. There's definitely sword play on the second floor.
Maybe a different route.
So this is a good point for us to kind of go to an action sequence, I think.
Okay.
Where we can kind of spend some raises to do things and maybe to create opportunities.
Okay.
Possibly will fall into eventually a combat sequence. So for this scene of kind of moving around the house or getting places and stuff, you'll figure out what you want to have as your trait that's appropriate, and then the skill that you think fits to kind of describe the kind of action that you want to be doing. So Naoko, let's start with you. What do you think you want to be doing here?
I think that with three of us being the outsiders here, Naoko's going to be looking for an alternate way up. That
So
maybe
more of
only we
a
could take.
like an athletics kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so. And
What is that going to look like?
I think it's going to be her quickly sizing up the room and checking things out. Maybe there's like a way that servants come and go that aren't just on the stairs, stuff like that.
Yeah, excellent. There might be a side set of stairs or another way up. All right. So go ahead and make your roll. It's the first time you've used athletics in this scene.
Mhm.
And you described that for me, so we'll give you the flair on that. Ishikawa, what about you?
So I'm just trying to make sure I understand. We entered the courtyard.
So you entered the Kingdom courtyard, walked up to the household, threw open those front doors.
Right.
Servants were rushing to get away. Clearly there was some conflict. And even as you saw that, a body fell down the stairs, one of these magistrates' warriors who'd been killed, and you could hear sword play going on the floor above you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
I had a different mental picture, so I'm glad I asked.
Sure, absolutely. No, it's good for you to have me repeat that.
I am heading up the stairs. If there is someone attacking, we need to know what is happening. So
This sounds like then probably something like a good straight athletics to just do that rush up, or something different.
I think athletics is the most applicable of the skills.
Okay.
And I guess like these traits are really challenging for me. And
put a pin in that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I definitely, that is going to be a thing. I think I'll just I don't care. Like, none of these make any sense. Just someone is disrespecting the house by having combat. So I'll just roll that.
Okay.
They're all 2s or 3s, so I don't really care. I'll just do that.
And the first time you've used athletics in this scene, so we'll give you a die for that. Tell me how it looks with you moving up these stairways. What is the samurai way for rushing up?
Well, he hasn't done the cinch up of the kimono thing, so he has his katana and scabbard, which is, by the way, I never described it, but it's a very not at all ornate scabbard. It's just like a bamboo, almost like a bamboo stalk is what it looks a little bit like. It is nice and extremely well made. But he's kicks off the chucks of those crazy big wooden sandals things, and so he can actually, because he entered their home, and he'll be running in his little socks and just taking long strides and hoping that he doesn't slide on the zombie.
1 die for description and 1 die for first time. And then let's come to Akiyama. Tell me what you're going to be doing.
So just so I can, is Naoko like kind of scouting for an alternate way into potentially the room at the top of the stairs?
She's going to be moving with athletics, looking for things. So she might create an opportunity to find a path up there. She might climb up there. She's going to have some options on her turn.
Okay, cool. I think what I want to do is kind of tail Naoko, and I'd like to use hide though, as kind of I'm trying to stick to the shadows and keep the guards out of my sight, because I think I also send Koinu up the stairs after Ishikawa as well, as kind of just like there's a bear coming up the stairs.
Okay.
And people probably won't be looking at her, so she wants to get a good vantage point on the scene of the fight.
Okay. What trait do you want to call that?
I think it's respect because of her respect for this like, is the Manabe family like respected generally?
They're a respected samurai clan family like your own.
Okay. Yeah, that, and also, my distaste for Hirobi's unclean act kind of thing. So he's, I disrespect there as well.
So 1 die for first time and 1 die for description. So everybody roll that, and then we'll get raises and we'll kind of walk around with everything.
I've got mine, and I've got an extra die, it looks like.
Do you want to give me that extra die?
Sure.
Okay. Let me raise my danger points to 3, and you get a hero point.
Sweet. Okay.
Hey, Lloyd. Or Lowell, sorry. Why do I keep saying that?
Everybody does that.
Yeah. I have an ability called Small. It says if your small size makes a risk easier, using hide to squeeze into a tiny space and escape a guard patrol, or athletics to slip between the bars of a cell, gain a bonus die. Do you think that applies here?
Yeah. Give yourself a bonus die.
Okay, awesome.
I have 4 raises as I rolled wisdom and athletics.
Excellent.
So I thought I was being wise, evading the main battle.
Ishikawa, how many raises do you have?
A mere 2 and no extra dice.
No extra dice. All right. And Akiyama, how many raises?
4 and no leftovers.
No leftovers. Okay. So Naoko, let me start with you. Is your focus on just kind of getting yourself up, or do you want to try and create an alternate route for the others?
Well, it seems like they're just rushing up anyway. So
Okay.
maybe do like a sort of matrixy wall jump up, like to circumvent the fighting or flank them in some way.
Yeah. Perfect. So you spend 1 of your raises and you kind of leap up and you can grab onto the edge of that roof and flip yourself onto that and go running up to the sort of the railing there and throw yourself in. And you can see that there's fighting going on the you can probably just, it does not sound like these guards are winning whatever this fight is. It sounds bad. So you'll get yourself up to there. I'm going to come back to you in just a sec. Ishikawa, you will move up the stairs, kind of do that, rush up there, spend a raise. A raise will put you at the top of the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that there are a number of guardsmen who are on the sort of the stairs come up, and then they do that turn up to that next floor.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see that there are some guardsmen with their swords out on the stairs sort of parallel to you that are fighting someone. And whoever they're fighting, you hear the distinct sound of a blade breaking a blade. And you get a bad feeling. And you kind of look down in front of you on that landing, and there are already 3 guardsmen laid out. Their blood is soaking into the wood of the floor here. And they like 2 of them didn't even get their blades out. It just looks like a massacre going on right here. So that seemed good for your action, Raise, and what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Akiyama, the bear is up behind Ishikawa, but is holding. Bear knows not to go crazy inside a building, so it's probably a little more restrained about things. But what are you doing, Akiyama?
I think I think in using hide, it's kind of like Ishikawa rushes straight up the stairs. Naoko takes one side and I take the other. So maybe I'm kind of like, I slip around the side of the room to kind of like underneath the staircase, and I climb up it like backwards basically, and I shuffle myself along the railing or whatever, and then pull myself up onto a balcony behind something. And I'm trying to find like a side passageway or something where I can actually flank or kind of gain some information here. You know, I'm looking for the bodyguard who has the possession of that sword. Maybe if we can track down any of those spirit weapons, because she is concerned about those.
So I'll say it'll cost you a raise to get up, and then if you want to spend another raise to get the information that you want, you can do that. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, let me pull up. I've got a picture here. Let me pull that out here.
Very cool.
Subfolder.
Yeah, I think she's, you know, the idea of these two spiritually opposed blades, and you know, they were kept safe for so long, and now there's a potential for a severe imbalance there because they're so powerful, and she's worried about them falling into the wrong hands and being abused. Right. That's definitely an impure act.
Yes. So I've put a picture there on the second tab, and you kind of roll and get yourself positioned because there's chaos. There are more guards up here. There are a few others here who are kind of falling back because they've been injured. And on the landing up to that third floor, caught between guards coming down and the guards coming up, is this samurai woman. Who is wearing the livery of House Manabe, and has this sword, and it's kind of an ornate katana. The what you're seeing of it is sort of the black threading on the hilt, and to you with your spirit sight, the sword itself looks black. And she brings it around, and you will hear that the sword just kind of, it's groaning with hunger as it's killing. And it is reaping these guardsmen. And she is tearing them apart on that landing. It looks like she's trying to move up the stairs to the third floor right now is what's going on. Okay. So I'm going to come back to Makoto. Makoto, what do you want to do?
Makoto.
No, there was a Makoto last. There we go. My first misread of the night.
No worries.
There's Makoto in the Kuro game. Naoko.
So I see this woman as well, reaping people.
You know that there's that fighting going on that landing in there, going up to the third floor. You're kind of on the roof of the second floor. You could move into where your comrades are. You could move up to the third floor. What would you like to do? Or something else?
I kind of like the idea of going to the third floor.
Okay. All right, then you can spend a raise and tell me what that looks like. You getting up there.
There's like the supporting beams that are going up each way, and I think she has like a flashback to when she was like a kid at the monastery, and they would play a game getting up the fastest. So she just does that. She just goes from like place to place to place to place, and then just flings herself up.
Fling yourself up, and this is the smallest. It's the sort of the high tower, and you can hear sort of the maybe there must be at least some kind of hand maiden in there, a kind of weeping. You can see that there's a handmaiden and another woman dressed in sort of the formal robes. She's sitting calmly, and outside the doors you can hear the fighting. Probably from here on the screen that you can see through, she's watching the paper screen. Is probably there's this of blood hitting that she can kind of see, you know, from the lamplight. She can't see who's coming, but she sees the blood spray onto the screen, and she knows it's not good. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ishikawa, you've got a raise left. What would you like to do with that? What do you want to have happen?
I want to interpose myself between these guard and this samurai ko, and try to block her next strike. I really don't want her to reap anymore if I can stop it.
All right. So absolutely. If describe to me what that looks like, because these guys, when you get in the way, they're definitely going to fall back. So
Okay.
what does that look like?
What it looks like is that he parts his way heading up the stairs. He parts his way, shoving them aside, holding the katana in scabbard forth, and then when she comes for a strike, he flings it out so it catches the blade and just throws it aside.
Okay. And you see these guys, you look older and official, so as soon as they get the opportunity to not be murdered by this woman, they fall back, against the wall. This is like nothing they've seen. And she, turns that aside, and she's less interested in you. She was more hitting them to keep them from coming up behind her. And so she'll turn her attention back to these guys on the stairs above her. And that hungry blade just cuts through the next guy coming down at her. And she's more intent on getting up those stairs. But you've got these guys pushed back. You're on the stairs going up. She's going to try and push up further. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Akiyama, what do you want to do?
I think I want to this samurai, like watching her incapacitate all of these warriors. I think I want to, so she's kind of like head off up the stairs kind of thing.
Yeah, imagine that we've got now, you're on the sort of second floor,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a set of stairs that go up towards the third floor, and then there's a landing, and then turn again.
Mm-hmm.
Ishikawa's on that set of stairs from here going up,
Mm-hmm.
has pushed these guards back, and this woman is on the landing trying to force her way up, clearly towards where Lady Manabe is.
And there's more soldiers that she's fighting through to get up to the third floor.
Not many left.
Okay. Then I think at this point I would like to support her. I would like to basically when she goes up to fight, from behind her a few kunai kind of like come sailing through the air and embed themselves in whoever she's fighting, and then I want to kind of exchange a couple words with her.
All right, so I will say you've got you can spend a raise to assist her to kind of push those guards away so that they're not like in her killing field. Is that what you're trying to do?
I mean, I'm sure she could probably handle them because I know about this weapon, but it's almost more about like proving myself and like, in her eyes, like, showing that I'm worthy kind of thing. I'm kind of trying to hit my, what's it called? My, when you prove there's more to nobility than expensive clothes and attending court. I want to kind of like do this with the grace and demeanor of a noble.
So I'm going to say this is going to cost you 2 raises to do that, because you're kind of improvising, you're switching off your original hide to do that. So your spirits, what does that look like when they push those people back out of her way?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking that instead of it being the kamui, the spirits, it's she wields like these throwing knives. I think they're called kunai. They're kind of, and she just has like a bunch of them on her belt, and I just kind of wanted to throw a few of them and support her in pushing back towards where the lady Madanabe is being held, and then kind of converse with her while we I want to get a little info.
So
you know that she's going to like kill an innocent person though, right?
So yeah. So we'll come back to that in a second. But I'll say yeah. But it'll still be an improvisation to do the blades. But essentially, you'll kind of the blades, the knives will fly up past them. These guardsmen who are already facing her black blade of death will fall back now that they're now knives filling the air, and you can kind of get up, up to where Yamazaki is. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, maybe I should clarify that I'm not making a big misstep as a player or a big assumption that I shouldn't have made or something like that, because my character probably
I'm a
wouldn't.
little lost. Like, I thought we were going upstairs. There's like samurai, a bunch of other samurais who moves to the side, a fucking bear, and like now they're and I understand a monk like Jackie Chan in past like that.
The monk went on the outside.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I have no mental picture. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
Okay.
I know you're not trying to knock it down, but like,
describe again where we're at. All right. There's a set of stairs going up to the 3rd floor. It's a landing. Stairs continue up, right? She was caught between 2 groups of these guardsmen. The one on the lower stairs, you push back to kind of save them from being killed by her. She turned her attention to keep pushing up towards the 3rd floor. So that's where she is headed, is to get through the last guards that are up there. So you're kind of moving up, closing on her, Yamazaki. Does that seem reasonable? That's where you are?
Yeah, I guess what I wanted to clarify.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm doing here. Let me get. Yeah, is that cool with you, Ishikawa?
sure.
Okay. Does that seem? Do you have a sense of where we're at with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And right now, Naoko has gone around the outside and is up on the outside of the 3rd floor on the roof there, kind of coming up behind. And she's seen Lady Manabe is in that room that this woman is clearly heading towards.
To kill.
So let me then rewind here. Akiyama, I apologize, kind of cut you off there. Let's go back now that I've kind of gone over the scene. What do you want to do?
Right. So I guess just what I wanted to clarify is that I was under the impression that this samurai woman is wearing the livery of House Mananabe, and that these guards here are all underneath the control of Horio. And
that is correct.
Okay. So if I'm interested in protecting Lady Mananabe, I might assume that this bodyguard, this potentially Yojimbo, who I know came in to acquire the sword, might be trying to protect her and stave off these.
That is certainly a reasonable reading of the situation.
Okay, so I think that's what I would make. I would assume, just because she has a death-giving sword doesn't mean she's evil. She's just using it to do
absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the process, in doing those knives and kind of moving up to where where Ishikawa is, and throwing those knives upwards, it will end up saving those guards because they will fall back away from her essentially kill zone.
Okay. And I think yep.
But I'm going to stop you there because that takes 2 raises. I want to switch back and see what Naoko is doing. And then I want to come back and check in with you. Does that seem okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're at 1 raise. Ishikawa, you're out. I believe you've got 2 raises left, Naoko.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
I want to go to the lady and say, well, I don't know about that woman approaching, but I think I'd want to remove her from the situation regardless. So I think I call out and say, lady, I'm here to help. I have a way down, though perilous, and your guards are clearly in some sort of altercation, but I can extricate you from here. And I want to try to move her down, sort of using the pillars with some clothes or something like that to fly down with her or something.
So you'll get up there and you kind of say that, and she goes, no, that is my husband's bodyguard. That is dear Katushi. She is here to rescue me.
Don't make I don't know if that's a good assumption to make. Why would she be slaughtering or I don't know that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I think you shouldn't take chances. I'm a monk. You can trust me. I think that you should get out of here with me and not.
So you could, if you got those 2 raises, you could grab her and move her out of here, or you could stay here and try to convince her.
No, yeah, I'll just take her and go then.
Okay, grab.
Yeah.
The handmaiden will shriek as this monk grabs up her mistress, and she's fighting against you as you kind of leap off. Probably do that thing where she's got the belt wrapping thing. You can kind of wrap that on and then kind of rappel back with that over the edge. So that's going to be all your raises. Akiyama, you've got a raise left on this action sequence. What do you want to do?
So is the samurai, is she continually approaching the room, basically?
She is moving up. She looks like death is her business, and business is good.
Mm-hmm. So I call out to her, I think, and I say, samurai, you wield a dark power, but I must know your disposition. I say, do you fight for the Lady Watanabe?
And she looks at, she goes, I fight my way towards Lady Watanabe. I will have her head. Shook! Cuts down another guy and moves upwards.
Well, that didn't turn out the way that she was hoping it was. And I think Akiyama, really stepped up to that. She was trying to put on her whole nobility thing and be really imperious. And then this woman is immediately just like berserker mode. And she's like, well, and then I think she just says, your misuse of an ancient spiritual power will cost you dearly. And I just like whistle, and Koinu just like barges around the corner and roars,
right,
wanting to charge her.
So it seems like we're going to another kind of sequence here. The question is, are we going to a combat sequence? Are you and Ishikawa going to take this woman on? Or are you doing some other tactic here?
When I make eye contact with Ishikawa, what do his eyes tell me?
He is not going to let her hack down any more of the magistrate's men who are doing their duty.
Yeah, I think as natives of Fuso, we both have a strong, sense of honor and pride in our samurai and in our martial abilities, and I don't think we would, either of us would let this woman get away with that. So I think, yeah, it's go time.
That seems fair to me. All right. So let's start with Ishikawa. What is going to be your action on this round? I assume we will be using your weaponry.
Yes, it is. He is going to try to bring some kind of peace by defeating her, not allowing her to use the death-dealing sword on anyone else.
That seems like a good way to go. So go ahead. Tell me what I mean, are you keeping your blade in the scabbard, or is this the point at which it comes out?
It has not come out yet. Yeah, we'll see. I hope this isn't one of those like sphere of annihilation on a stick things, because that would suck. But hey, it's all right. This is how he would go down. Yeah, Ishikawa will interpose himself in front of her, sword scabbard, so double-handed, one on top of the crossguard, one hand on top of the crossguard, one below, which he can quickly move it if she tries to slide down. But it's to show I've obviously kept this in the scabbard. It is a choice. And he stands in front, levels the blade in her face. You need to stop.
Okay. When the challenge is made, she will go into her combat mode. I will spend one of my danger points.
Nice.
To add 2 more dice to her effects for this turn. So I'll be rolling then it's going to be 9 dice for me. We'll resolve that in a second. Describe to me then, Akiyama, what is your action, your skill?
Let me throw
trait
one I want to activate my virtue here.
Oh, yeah.
Because Akiyama and I are effectively working together. So my virtue is exemplary, which when I activate that virtue, I'm choosing Akiyama. Choose another hero in the same scene to pool your raises for the round, spinning raises to take actions from your shared pool.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice.
And Akiyama can spend a hero point in order to give 3 more dice to a roll for Rich as well.
Yep, and that'll go
PS.
towards the big pool then.
Wicked.
I read it this time.
Okay. Okay. So you will do that. It costs you a hero point to do that effect, but you will get that effect then, Ishikawa. We'll have you roll. You're going to get your flair and your description, so you get your extra 2 dice on top of the 6 that you're working with, so 8. And then let's come to Akiyama. You two are going to coordinate.
Yeah, and I think I can see that, like, as Ishikawa like levels the challenge at her, and my bear, growls menacingly behind him. I think I'm kind of like reaching out, and I can sense that she's sort of possessed by this weapon and by this bloodlust. And I think I want to use the trait here would be my loyalty to Ishikawa and to my countryman who I'm fighting alongside, especially since he's using his hero point in that way. I feel like the two of us are approaching this together, because normally I'd let him fight her alone, but because she's aided by this ancient, powerful, mystical weapon, it's not really a one-on-one fair fight because she has the spirits behind her. So I think it's mysticism. I think while he duels her normally, I'm attacking her mind and her connection to the spiritual blade.
That is perfect.
I like that.
Yeah, and you'll get the flare dice for that. Are you spending a hero point to give Ishikawa more dice? So Ishikawa, you get 3 extra dice then.
Good, because I rolled 3 ones, so I'm very happy to have more dice.
Don't forget that at skill rank 3, you get to re-roll 1 of those dice.
Oh, okay. So I think I'm gonna just jump to our rolling room, because at this point I've already rolled, so I'll just roll
a bunch of stuff. It's all crazy. All right,
so many rolls.
Naoko, what do you want to be doing this round?
So I'm picturing it as like a tiered house, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to spend a hero point to do my my perfect balance, and I want to like jump with her off the roof, carrying her and sliding down these tiles, making like a perfect entry to like jump off the roof and continue down the same way in the tiered levels.
That sounds perfect. So that does sound like you're using athletics again, right?
Probably yes. So
Okay.
I don't get a bonus die.
Won't get a bonus die.
And I think I'm doing it with compassion for a trait.
Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. If you spend that hero point, we can say that that's from last time, that you could, with those 2 raises that you spend, you would have gotten her to the ground.
Okay.
So let's start from that point, that from last round with that hero point spend, you've gotten her to the ground. What would you do next? What would be your action on this round now?
I'm torn, because I wonder if I would want to get her to safety or to go up and help my comrades, because she's basically not going to be safe here either, right? Like, no matter what, it seems like these guards are wanting to kill her.
Keep in mind, you could just, all it would take is a raise from your pool to say, okay, I get her to safety.
Oh,
like
okay.
hand her off to people or something. That's all it takes to kind of do a thing.
Okay, well, sure. Well, so I want to do that first, and then I probably want to matrix up there again.
Okay, so it still sounds like athletics then.
Yeah, and I think I'm doing it out of compassion, because the driving force is to save her.
Okay.
So
go ahead and roll. You'll get an extra die for description, but not for the skill use.
Right.
Do you want to spend hero points to give yourself an extra die?
I only have one, so no, I don't think so.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Okay, so I have 3 raises, 2, 4, 6, 3,
Okay.
and an extra die.
So, all right. So Ishikawa, how many raises did you end up with?
I ended up, and I have to add through 2 different places. So I ended up with 5 raises and 1 die. It's a 1. Can you buy ones off of me if you want?
Oh yeah, I can buy them. They just become dice and extra danger points for me to spend on the bad guys.
Take it, and I'll take that hero point. Okay. So that's 5 raises, and we're pooling raises. So
right. So Akiyama, how many raises did you get?
I've got 4 and 1 left over. If you're in the market for
oh yeah, gosh, points. I'll take I'll raise it.
All right.
Okay.
Oh geez.
Right now, Ishikawa, Akiyama, you have 9 raises between the 2 of you. Okay. Mm-hmm. To do actions. And how much? What did you get, Naoko?
So I have 4 raises now because I re-rolled one of them for the skill level thing for being 3.
Yes.
So I have 3. I have 1 extra die, but I don't know if I should give it to you because you have a lot.
I only have 4. That means if you give me that one, it's 5. It's only halfway to the first of the problems.
Do it. You love those hero points.
It's true. I do like them because I could just be perfect. So I'll do that. Yeah. I'll do that.
You're 5.
And then I have an extra hero point, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So because you guys have pooled your raises, that kind of changes up the dynamic of how the scene gets read. So I am just going to kind of go around in order. I do need to roll for the bad guy, though, don't I? Look at this.
GM says to roll dice.
So, Rich, on the show of this, this duel and the scene that happens, do you think it's Ishikawa striking out first and then me kind of barraging her mind with whatever I'm going to do, or do you think that happens first and then you take advantage of that afterwards?
I think that Akiyama is the one who's on the offensive. He's trying to, he's trying to take the blows. He's not going to be able to cut her, right? He's going to be able to whack her a few times, but I think Akiyama is leading it and he's defending in the physical realm.
All right. So on 5, either Ishikawa or Akiyama can go.
Okay. Well, here's what I want to do, and then we can figure out when we want that to happen in sequence. But what I would like to do is I'd like to reach out to the kamui within the stones of the wall, within the masonry. And I would like to command them, because the earth kamui are about temperance and fortitude. I want to temper her wrath and her bloodlust, basically. And I don't know if that means actually binding her to the stones, but I think it's it's less of a physical thing and more of like maybe they
you want to break her influence. The influence on her, right?
Okay. Yeah, I want to sever her connection and kind of calm her spirit a little bit.
All right. How many of your raises do you want to spend on that? Between the 2 of you, you have 9 raises. But of course, if you use all of them, then the other person can't go.
Oh, I would definitely not want to use all of them. So I guess this is just going to increase the margins of success, or how exactly?
So I'll tell you the mechanic that it has. She has a certain number of raises, sort of worth of influence. So each raise you spend is going to chip away at the influence and control over her. Okay. And I'll tell you how much that is. You need 10 total raises to break the influence on her. Wow. And that can be done over the course of a couple of rounds.
I have an extra raise, actually. I forgot that I have a thing. The legendary trait Compassion, because I rolled with Compassion. Apparently, one of those dice are just a 10. And if it was to explode, I get a free legendary trait 10. But from the die roll on the dice roller, none of them were a 10 anyway.
Okay. So we'll come to you right after we get Akiyama. So what do you want to do, Akiyama?
Well, I definitely don't like, even cinematically, I don't want to spend all of them because I want this to be like a bit of a scene, right? So I'm like, Rich, what do you think? Like 4 or 5? Like I want this to, I want to put
make it significant. Make it significant. Go for it. Take half of it.
Okay. 4 or 5?
Okay. I think this is most of what I'm going to do in this scene, because this is really like, it's going to take some time, and it's kind of like a lot of effort here. So I'm gonna stay 5 if that's, because we can do another round after, right? And
there'll definitely be another round after.
Okay,
provided people survive.
Let's just cut it in half.
Okay. So, what does that look like when you summon that up to try to break through this black blade of death? I mean, it hungers. This is the death-giving sword. Life-giving sword is nowhere to be found here. This thing just brings death.
Right. So I think this, like I said, like the stones all around begin to kind of like thrum and hum, and there's this like deep, earthly, almost percussive like rhythm and vibration that kind of penetrates the room, and it almost feels like as if everything's shaking a little bit, or like at least that's how it feels to us. And I think maybe we see her eyes kind of like calm a little bit for a moment before the kind of bloodlust takes a hold of her again, as she like starts fighting with Ishikawa. And maybe the magic of the sword kind of dims a little as for a second, but it's not enough.
Awesome. I love it. So you do that. So that's going to eat out your action essentially for the round. We'll come back and check in. Also on 5 is Naoko.
Mm-hmm. So I'd like to get her to safety, but I'm not sure how to do that. Like, here's
what you say. You say, I'm spending a raise, and you tell me how you're doing that.
Okay. I spend a raise. And I think maybe there has to be some sort of like, maybe if she gets to the temple within these grounds, then she might be safe. Like they would protect her.
Oh, like maybe with some of these servants that are running by, you kind of put her in their arms.
Yeah.
And run her to the shrine.
Yeah, and I'm like, trust no one, go to the shrine only, right?
Right. Essentially, you see the sort of the 2 cook women. They've got those rolled up pants and sleeves and the sort of the white thing, and they see their lady, and you shove her. She's still kind of yelling, but they'll grab onto her and they'll run her to the family shrine. Okay, so that's on 5.
Cool.
Now on 4, villain goes first. So she is going to make a strike at you there, Ishikawa. She has enough sense to her to know that you are the person that she needs to hit. So she will spend her raise to essentially hit you with a bash, which is going to deal a wound to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to prevent you from dealing damage on your attack. So that's a bash on 4.
Wait, prevents from doing damage, or do 1 less wound?
So
for each rank you have in weaponry.
Yeah, so she has a weaponry of 3, so she'll reduce the damage that you would do by 3.
Gotcha. Can I parry a bash?
Can you parry a bash? That's a good question. I think you can parry it to reduce the wound, but not the effect.
Okay, then I'm not going to do that.
Okay, so she hits you for a wound. What does that take you to?
That takes me to the @ symbol.
Okay, which means it's your first dramatic wound, which means you now get a bonus die to all your risks after this.
Yay! Bonus die. I think she pops me in the nose. Does that sound good?
That brings it down. You kind of, you're doing the thing where she thinks she's going to strike, but this blade has just made her brutal, and she hits you in the face with her fist on that, and then it's your action on 4.
Sweet. Good. So, knowing that, I'm not going to be able to do any damage to her. Sorry, I'm looking at the dueling maneuvers real quick.
Sure.
That one threw me off, which is awesome. I think that, yeah, counter wouldn't work against bash. Parry doesn't work against bash.
You could bash her back.
Yeah, I could bash her back. That's
It won't
true.
do any
It's not a
damage,
bad
but it
idea.
will reduce her damage then.
Or I could feint, in which does 1 wound or no wounds, but the next source of wounds on the target deal an additional wound. So
That's not bad.
I'm going to feint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? What does that feint look like there?
She bashes him in the face, and he stumbles back for a second, but recovers himself and brings the sword up in like a very quick swipe that should hit her, but it comes just inches away, showing his expertise, but is a feint to draw her in. And because of the bash, it's no wounds to her whatsoever.
Nice. So you got her drawn off. Okay, and that was her on 4. That was you on 4. Naoko on 4.
I'll be trying to get back up, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
another 2 raises, I guess, right?
I'll say a raise.
Oh, okay.
Because something you already did before, and you've got that you dropped a line down to carry her down before. So what does that look like? You going up there, and you can get up, in that room behind her.
Yeah, before I was doing the bounce back between the pillars. Now with the rope, I think what happens is she grabs it and then she pulls it taut, and then she runs with it and then uses the leverage from pulling on it to just like run straight up like the pillar.
Oh yeah. And you can get in there, and that the paper screen door that led out to the landing that had the blood on it. One of the guardsmen has fallen through it, so it's kind of torn open, and so you can see this woman engaged with Ishikawa, and behind you can probably see their Akiyama concentrating, and there are lanterns in this room, okay? And the fire in them is going nuts. It's flaring, and you can see the paper and the lanterns starting to catch. Looks like the spirits are angry around in here.
Either that or there's like a Nelly song on.
That is a weak reference. So that was on 4.
I'm in the roll for your party. I'm just going to go ahead and X card the Nelly references. There we go.
Fair enough. So we're on 3. She is going to slash at you. Rich, how much damage do you prevent?
From the feint, I don't prevent any damage. I deal 1 wound in the next source.
Yeah. So she is going to slash. She brings that blade down and she cuts across you for 3 wounds.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to die.
Yes. And then it's you on 3. And you can see, even as this is going on, the spirits, you feel that around you. Behind you, probably hear Akiyama's chanting. What do you want to do?
That foul blade has tainted your mind. I will take it away from you. And
come at me, old man.
Yes. Call him old. Ageism, yes. Yeah, I'm going to perform a slash.
Okay. So how much damage is that going to do?
Deals a number of wounds equal to ranks in weaponry plus 1 more because of the feint previously. So 4 total wounds are dealt.
So describe to me that slash and where you hit her.
Sweet. So she says, come at me, old man. And he brings the sword high for a strike, assuming that she would bring it up to and he pivots down and brings it across her left wrist.
Okay. And it will cut along there. She's got her armor there. It cushions a little bit of it, but it kind of strips that open, and it'll cut down, and you'll see bone there for a second.
No cut.
Hmm?
No cut.
Oh, no
No
cut.
blade.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting you still have that on there. So again, there is that crack then. And you probably go back to your old days of being hit by those Bakken in the thing. You can know that her wrist is probably shattered, bones in there, but she's still kind of holding on to that, even as that starts to stiffen. Naoko, what do you want to do?
I want to. I have an image in my head with this lady trying to attack Ishikawa, and me like whipping my staff so hard that it embeds itself into the side of the room, so that when she comes down, she hits my staff instead of Rich. Is there a way to do that?
Oh, yeah. So you've got a couple of maneuvers. Let me look at your thing real quick here.
Yes, I maneuver. I also don't see any of those things.
Oh, they're in the little dueling cheat sheet.
Oh. Okay.
So what you can do then is, when she goes next, you can counter?
Yes, I want to do that.
Do that. And how many ranks do you have in Brawl?
Oh, Brawl, I have 3.
Okay. So then this is what happens on the next round.
Okay.
She comes back up again and goes for a probably another bash on you, Rich.
Sounds good.
And as she does that, she brings it down, and you've already taken some damage. She's just going for both, and you'll hear that, and that staff comes and it hits into the wall, and when she brings the blade down, it hits there, and it comes back so hard and hits her in the face, and her nose will break open, and she'll stagger back, blood pouring out of her face there. The staff came out of nowhere. She hit it. Her wrist is giving. She has to switch to the other hand as to favor that. And it's your action, Ishikawa.
I'm looking to her eyes. Does she still seem absolutely determined, tainted by this blade and the death?
Right now, this wound, she is still driven. Akiyama's work is pushing on her spirit, but right now she is still under this thing's control.
Cool. Then I would like to, this moment where she is trying to recover, I'm going to perform a lunge. I spend all of my raises remaining, deal a number of wounds equal to ranks and weaponry plus the number of raises spent. They cannot be reduced or prevented.
How much is that?
So the rate. So I'm trying to make sure. So I'm spending raises on each of these maneuvers, right? So I started with 4 because 5 were spent by Akiyama, and 2 things happened. So that would be 5 total wounds that I'm doing, right?
Okay. Yeah. So where does the blunt end of your blade, your scabbard, hit her?
She brings the sword down on the bow staff. It bounces back. Ishikawa, he spins around, and the sword sweeps away from her, coming low, and comes underneath and hits right behind both of her ankles. And he rolls forward and slides the sword off of the scabbard just slightly and holds it near her face.
Okay, that hit, when she goes, she's still kind of recovering from that hit from the bow staff. You hear in the back of the legs, and when she hits, and you kind of go to kind of get her, she falls, and between the broken wrist and stuff, she loses her grip, and she hits the floor. Let the body hit the floor, and she goes unconscious.
Nice.
Because what you'll see is, as soon as the sword leaves her hand, all of that sort of force of what Akiyama is doing will kind of wrap onto it. Naoko, the room is on fire, by the way. What do you want to do?
I don't like fires. They keep following me, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how you would put out a fire in like a feudal paper temple.
Just how would you?
Is there maybe there's rice and I grab rice bags and pour it on it.
Okay, so like got like the ceremonial rice, like a bag of that, and so you kind of throw that on the fire before it can get too much, and it's ceremonial rice, so the spirit flames will rush to that and will just absolutely burn that rice to a crisp, and that will kind of absorb that fire.
Cool.
Like
I like that.
Like that sacred object kind of calmed them down. So we're out of action sequence. We're out of combat sequence. There are groaning magistrates, men around here trying to get up. They don't know who you are. There are a lot of very badly wounded people here. And they're actually kind of getting up to like go and put this woman down.
Oh.
They kind of standing, and they go to make sure that she can't get up again. She's unconscious. They're in front of you, Ishikawa. Akiyama's behind you. What do you want to do?
Stand back, dishonorable dogs.
I will say there's no need to roll for this, given how badly wounded they are, given how you've dealt with this woman. They will fall back. Like, they still don't know who you are. They still don't know what's going on, but they will pull back. And they're trying to figure out what's happening. Akiyama, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think I might speak up and say, guardsmen, your loyalty to the magistrate is to be respected, but this woman here was possessed by a dark spirit. I think justice will come to her, but this is a matter of something beyond your understanding.
And as soon as you say that, and they realize what you are, they fall back now. Now they're actually kind of afraid of the sort of the spiritual corruption of this black blade that's still kind of humming with hunger there on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of get their attention. You do that, and Naoki, you put that fire out. Ishikawa, what are you doing now?
I want to get that death-dealing sword, but I don't want to pick it up. I want to nudge it with my toe and maybe scabbard it without actually drawing it.
She has a scabbard for it there.
Okay, I'll grab the scabbard.
An evil scabbard, Rich. An evil one.
Yeah, that's true.
So you'll get that, and that scabbard is black as night. But you'll kind of put that in there, and it is whispering to you. It is telling you all the things that you could do, all the enemies that you could reap before it. And maybe if you were a younger man, that song might get to you, that all the promises, but you're old enough to know a lie when you hear it. Arthritis flares up.
Sorry, I was just going to say that I think when I've addressed these men, and I turn and I see Ishikawa having picked up the blade, and I might at first yell Ishikawa, no, but then I can see that he is kind of has it under control, and I wait and see if he's able to kind of grapple with this dark spirit.
Nice. You're ready on tenterhooks.
But I'm watching. I've got the earth spirits on call right now. But yeah,
nice.
And Ishikawa seems jaded enough with the world that this blade doesn't sing to him like it would anyone else.
I could kill everyone, but then who would get me tea?
Yes, exactly. So the magistrates are kind of, and one of them will say, "Where is Lady Manabe? She's escaped." And they've now realized that their prisoner they were charged with seems to have escaped in the chaos.
I think I say sorry, go ahead, Lo.
Well, so with that in mind, and they look at you, Naoko, and like maybe one of them are like, I didn't see that person come up but in the chaos, they're not sure what's going on. So you three can be together kind of to discuss what you want to do next, or to conspiratorially speak to one another here.
I like us like maybe strolling down the path of destruction that was wrought like in the kung fu movies after you mess everybody up and they're all like groaning on the ground and whatnot. And Nyako's like, we need not worry about the lady. She's safe, but I think that we need to take care of this magistrate once and for all.
Magistrate, but they're like, what's muttering, mutter. What's going on? I don't understand.
Oh, was that meant to be heard by all those people?
Probably the people that are by you are like, what's going on? They know something strange has happened. So yeah, you guys can make it down to the courtyard. For the moment, let's assume that the Yojimbo is secured in the hands of the servants.
I appreciate that. I was thinking the Ishikawa would identify himself and command the magistrates to, remand her for justice.
Yes. They are good at taking orders. Once somebody actually gives them orders, they're like, okay, now we know what to do.
What is a Yojimbo again?
A Yojimbo is a bodyguard.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think I would like to summon all of the authority that I have at my behest and say, your part in thwarting this assassination was appreciated, but we three can take on the task of recovering Lady Matanabe from here. You have done well, but please take to the cleaning and burying of your comrades and your fellows. We will handle it from here.
They will leave you be if you give them something to do, something to focus on that doesn't involve getting murdered. They will turn their attention very much towards that. Cool. Let's pause and take a break here. Take a 5 minutes, and we'll come back and roll on with this.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Have you ever seen Redbeard, Rich?
No. What is Redbeard?
Redbeard is the last movie that Mifune did with Akira Kurosawa.
Oh, cool.
And it's not a samurai film, but it's just this, it's a really great movie kind of set in this sort of late samurai period where Mifune plays this doctor.
Uh-huh.
And it's just for a sort of slice of life drama. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Nice.
Between that and Sanjuro and Yojimbo.
God, Yojimbo.
So
did you know the oh shoot, what was her name? Collins, who not Anne Collins, maybe it is. Anyway, there's a woman who had a vampire novel series that she
Nancy Collins.
Written. Nancy Collins, thank you. Yeah, and she ended up doing comics, right? She did a lot of comics.
Yeah.
Did you read A Dozen Black Roses? So she took oh shoot, I can't remember her main character from that vampire series. I think Sonya, maybe, I don't know, not Sonya. Anyway, she took that character. It was licensed for World of Darkness, and she basically did Yojimbo, but the houses were different vampire clans with that character inserted into the World of Darkness setting. It was pretty great.
Yeah, of course, and then of course Yojimbo is what's the name of the movie? The Clint Eastwood movie that's based on it.
I know a Bruce Willis one called Last Man Standing. I know.
The first American adaptation is a Clint Eastwood one. I think is maybe Fistful of Dollars. Anyway, but it's really good. One of those spaghetti westerns. So let's frame where everyone is at right now. You guys have come out into the courtyard of this household, of this castle. The guards are kind of around here are kind of in disarray. You still haven't seen the sort of guardsmen of the castle itself in their livery. You assume they must be locked up somewhere, and you will see that there are a number of servants over by the shrine, Naoko, that they're kind of clearly keeping watch there, making sure that nothing happens. But you'll see at the far end on the sort of the guest building that there are some of these magistrates guardsmen there talking, and they will then kind of move to part, and you'll see these three guardsmen. They're not in the standard garb walking this way. They have sort of the magistrate's uniform on, but with enough touches that show you that these are more senior people. And they have these matching black, what are called jingasas. It's a sort of flat metal helm that sits on there. I actually put a picture up of what they look like in the thing. One of them has a nodachi, which is a big katana, a long katana, strapped across his back. Another one has, not unlike yourself, Naoko, has a staff, but it's metal tipped at one end, and at the other end, it's got that metal and it has a set of rings on it. And it's doing that thing when he's walking and he's with that staff. So you hear the ring of those. The third one you see has some chains in his hand that kind of lead down to his belt. So you're not sure if he's got just a weighted chain or a chain and a blade. And they're kind of walking towards you in that sort of assessing you three-way. The other magistrates, guardsmen that are around kind of fall back.
Can we briefly just recap our original reason for coming to this area, like who we were sent by, or like just our motivation from the beginning?
Well, you came here because you wanted to find out about, who had burnt the monastery, and eventually discovered that, in fact, it was this high magistrate that these people are working for, and that he had framed Lady Manabe for these murders, for the murder of her lord. That's why she's under arrest. Yeah. So you don't, this doesn't look like a high magistrate Norio, but this definitely looks like his right-hand men approaching.
Do any of them match the descriptions of what the monk told us at the monastery?
Yes.
Oh shit! I'm going off on them, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's particularly the guy with the staff. He described a person with the staff, and he looks like maybe a magistrate with some experience as a monk. It's probably the guy who told them how to do that, how to handle things. So you want to go?
I'm hot-headed. It's my hubris.
All right.
I fly off the handle and lose my temper, causing trouble.
I will give you a hero point for that.
Yeah, it seems like that might be applicable.
So you're gonna kind of rush this. So I'm gonna have you describe what you do. We'll kind of have you do your action. Just a description of it will get you in place, and we'll see what the others are doing, and then we'll figure out what roles we're going to be making. So when you see that guy, he matches that. You hear that ching of the staff as it comes down as they're walking towards you. What do you do?
I think it goes into like a freeze frame, and then it goes into like the heartbeat mode where her heart's pumping really hard, and then you see it on the screen because it goes like in and out black, and then to the color of the picture again, and you see Naoko look at her two companions there, and there's like a deep fury there that is just waiting to be unleashed, and then it does, and her eyes just like sort of go feral, and she turns her head, and she just is like charging at the guy with the staff.
Okay. Bursts across the ground in a burst of speed. They were kind of doing that move up where they were moving to maybe, okay, let's get ourselves, let's size up who these guys, maybe we'll see, oh my God, they're running at us, that kind of thing.
I do the like, the dust kicks up as I launch myself forward at this fellow.
Okay. So what do you want to I think that's going to be brawling, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So figure out brawling plus your trait, and this is a new scene, so you get those extra 2 dice. Ishikawa, you'd have that moment where you're like, oh, she's gonna attack. What are you gonna do?
Just chase after her, give her backup.
Okay. So how do you want to describe that skill there?
I think this is 1 on 3, right? There were 3 of them, and she just ran headlong in. So I think that he is loyal to her.
Okay.
And he is going to try to figure out what's going on. I think maybe warfare at this point.
That seems perfect. Yeah, absolutely. First time in the scene. You're moving up behind her, assessing. I'll give you those extra 2 dice for that.
Cool.
Also, by the way, give yourself a hero point for avoiding the death of an adversary.
Yay!
From that last scene. And Akiyama, what do you want to do?
Well, I think that as soon as I see them rushing headlong towards these two, I think I don't know if Koinu has followed us out of the building at this point.
We would assume so.
Cool. I think, you know, they make a direct path towards the two of them, and I kind of want to run alongside of them, and I want Koinu to let out like a horrifying like roar to maybe spook them a little bit, and
interesting.
so that I can. This is kind of just her helping me in this action, so that maybe if they hesitate, I can get a good aim on them and use my knives to throw.
Perfect.
Them.
I will give you definitely the bonus for the bear, and I'll roll aim plus the trait that you want to use. I'll give you those extra 2 dice.
Cool.
And I am going to spend. Oh, I have. How many danger points do I have? Oh, look, 5. Jeez, I think I'll spend a danger point on each one of these dudes. Thanks for the danger points, by the way.
Hey, who gave him all those danger points? Frazier.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Very nice. I have a question. What is so I'll spend a hero point to make my rolls explode, I think.
Yes.
And then it says if your 10s explode, your free legendary trait 10 explodes as well. What is my free legendary trait 10? I can't find that.
Oh, let me find this here. That is under let me see here.
Because that is my legendary trait, right?
If you roll a risk using compassion, you remove 1 die from your pool before you roll. That die is considered to roll at 10. So yeah, so sometimes there are times when your 10s wouldn't explode when you take certain effects. So yeah, so that 10 will explode.
Okay, and then if I spend a hero point, all of the 10s explode if I do that before I roll, right?
Well,
that's one of the options for hero points, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. That is okay. So that is so 10s don't normally explode unless you have the thing. So yeah, if you do that, then you'll get those exploding 10s.
Okay, so I'm gonna force exploding.
Okay. I'm gonna roll for my three fellows, my 3 fine fellows here. So they're going to be rolling that. So Chain gets that, and then Nodachi. Ooh, not so good for him. And Staff. Whoa!
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I'd like to say that I was using respect there out of my respect for Naoko's vengeance.
Absolutely.
That fury in her eyes, and I was just like, she needs this. I'm going to help her out here.
All right. So, Ishikawa, how many raises do you have?
I have 3 raises.
How many?
And I happen to have this leftover die if you're interested in purchasing it for the low price of
I will
20.
gladly take that extra die. And how many raises did you say you had?
I had 3.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
Akiyama, how many races do you have?
I've got 4, and I've got 2 leftover dice.
You want to give me both of those?
I'll
just take. I'll buy 1 off you.
I was gonna say 1 is what I'd like to offer up.
That gives me some spare points to have these guys be badasses. Okay. And what about you, Naoko?
So I have 5, and I did roll one of those as a 10, so I don't know if that matters for that roll.
It says so you get to roll another 10 or another
roll
D10.
another one.
Yep.
Okay, because yeah, it didn't seem like it did that, which is strange. I'll
just roll 1 die and add it to that.
Okay.
Could I maybe spend a hero point to assist Naoko and give her 3 extra dice?
Yes, you could. Do you want to do that?
I do, and I think in fiction, I think that's just like Naoko, looks to us, and I just give her like a solemn nod, basically like giving her permission to just go, kind of.
Perfect. So that's 3 more dice, Naoko.
Okay, so 5 is 9, 11. So I have 6 raises and a spare die, but I don't want to give you one.
Fair enough. So that means you go first. You are up on this guy with the staff. What do you want to do?
I want to do a haymaker.
Okay. And so let's look at the haymaker.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend all your raises on that?
Yeah, I just want to take him down.
That's what happens. Describe to me what happens. This guy staying there, he's doing that sort of solemn, I'm going to spook you out with the staff chain thing. And you are on him before he realizes it. And you drop him. So tell me what that looks like.
So I run at him. I take out my staff, plant it in the ground, and then like springboard off of the staff to like shoot at him, Dragon Ball Z style, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And I careen into him with my head, like headbutting him directly in the face.
Headbutting him, hits him. You'll hear the jaw give. Probably bites his own tongue there. There's a crack, and he just flies back, hits the grass there. Blood comes out, and he is out. And these other two are like they did not see that coming. And the staff guy is out completely. You've spent all your raises, but he is down out of the fight completely.
Chapow!
That was awesome.
Oh yeah,
That was kick-ass.
okay. So then on 4, the guy with the chain, you see him spin and draws that out, weight, and he and wraps it around your neck. You'll feel that weight go around, spin around. He pulls on it, and he's going to do 3 wounds to you. So 3 wounds, Naoko. That was on 4. Akiyama on 4.
Cool.
All right, I think I'd like to have her take off running, say a brief prayer to the air Kamui, and she sort of leaps into the air and does this like acrobatic routine almost, but at various points in this sort of kata almost, she just tosses out knives kind of thing, as with Koinu maybe roaring and charging behind the two of them to kind of maybe spook them if she can, give them any sort of hesitation so that she can, have a better target for her blades.
Perfect. So do you want to spend, how many of your raises do you want to spend to do damage? You have 4.
Yeah.
You could spend all of them.
I think I'd like to spend 3, and then could I maybe use 1 to so how do opportunities work again?
So so opportunities is a thing you can set up in fiction for what happens for somebody else. And so what we'll do here is, if you spend your 3 on this, I'll come back to you again on 1 and check in with you, and we'll see what you want to do with that last raise. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So who are you throwing it at? The chain person or the one with the big sword?
I think that by the time I'm, within range, and I think I'm going for the person with the big sword, because the chain person's already engaged with Naoko.
Yeah, you see him pulls that out, and then the blades hitting him. He'll kind of stagger back. I mean, and blood comes out. It's a solid hit across there.
Cool.
So that was on 4. On 3, the chain guy leaps over, and when you come towards you, Naoko, and kicks you in the face for another wound.
These guys are rough.
And then Ishikawa on 3.
Ishikawa on 3. So we have the chain guy who is trying to hold his own with Naoko.
Pulled Naoko over, did that thing, and then kicked her in the face. Nodachi guy has his weapon out and is looking at Akiyama because he just took those knives to the chest.
Nice. I think Naoko can handle herself with the chain guy, so I'll step in front of the Nodaichi guy.
Okay. And what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and blow a raise in order to. I'm just gonna come up and slash him. So it's yeah.
How much damage?
With a slash, I deal a number of wounds equal to ranks and weaponry 3 wounds to him.
So this guy draws. He gets hit with those things, and he starts moving over towards rushing Akiyama. Describe to me how you take him out.
Oh, nice. So I think what happens is he brings the Nodaichi up, and Ishikawa moving quickly on his big sandals there because he had to put them back on when he went back outside. It's a strike across the stomach, but the flat of his scabbard hits a couple of those daggers and causes them to move.
Oh yeah, that bad. And he didn't even see you move. You were standing still, and then you were on him with that hit, and he will drop to the ground, kind of spins. His Nodachi, slides across the grass there.
Nice.
And then, so that was on 3 that you went there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on 2, the chain guy has Naoko wrapped, and you'll see the other end come out, and he's got one of those hooked blades, and he drives that into Naoko's back for another 3 wounds.
When I mark the DW1, is that considered a wound, or do I go past it?
You consider that one of your wounds.
Okay. So I'm 2 past DW1.
Yeah. So you have a dramatic wound, so you get +1 to your risks, which is nice.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that great? Look at that. You want more wounds because it'll get worse and then better in a minute. So that was on 2. Ishikawa on 2.
Yeah, I think there's 3 of us, right? So let's see if we can. I don't have intimidation, so maybe I'll improvise some kind of intimidation.
Do you want to apply pressure to him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What do you want to demand he do?
Let's say, your master is evil, and you do not wish to suffer the same fate. Drop that chain.
And Naoko is like bleeding, but she's like looking super angry and just spits blood at the guy's face.
Ew, gross.
So that's on 2. We get to 1. You've caught him in a bad position because here's the game mechanic wise. In order to not do what you have asked him to do when you apply that pressure, when you spent that, he has to spend 2 raises. Well, he only has 1 on this round. So he's not going to drop his thing, but he can't do anything else this round as he kind of locks eyes with you on that. Akiyama, what do you want to do?
I think, Naoko still is wrapped up in this chain, and there's kind of like this brief pause in the action and this exchange. And I think I want Akiyama to kind of like center herself and call on the air kemoi to guide her blade. And I want her to throw a blade with like precision accuracy and just sever the chain.
You know what? That is so awesome. I will say that works because that is the coolest.
Yeah.
It'll be pulled by that. You'll feel a chill as the air kemoi kind of pull the heat away from you, and you are like shivering from the cold of it. But it will hit that, and the chain will shatter. Ishikawa on 1.
So he's not going to give in. Like, we get that. Like, he
was kind of holding, like he wasn't going to give in. Like he thought he might be able to just break Naoko's neck, but now the chain is shattered.
He had his chance. I'm lunging.
Okay. And how much does that do?
Just spending 1 raise, so it is only 4.
4 is boom. Where do you hit him?
Can I just suggest something, Rich?
Yeah.
Maybe as those chains like break apart, you're so fast because you're a samurai that you use your sword to like hit them all, and it like goes like shooting into the guy, and that's what takes him out.
That's insane. Sure.
Yeah, I imagine if you hit the chain up, you can hit him in the face with his own shattering chain.
There we go. I will hit him in the face with his own shattering chain. That's just good enough for me. I like it.
Okay. And that will drop him. He will drop to the ground out. And you can see the various guardsmen, the magistrate's guardsmen, they're standing there and they've just seen you attack the 3 lieutenants and take them out, no question. And none of them seem willing to step up.
Weird.
They all kind of hold position and they're looking to see what's going on. What do you guys want to do?
Sounds like Akiyama could use nobility to tell them to show us where the magistrate is, even maybe.
Yeah, Imperious Glare. Get out of your way or dismiss your actions as nothing more than a tantrum. It's not as much about commanding. I guess leave us alone is kind of, the thing, but
yeah, I think it makes sense with your skills of the 3 of you that you can probably, they're going to move to kind of secure the castle. That's what they were told to do. So given the opportunity to fall back into that, they will, because they don't know what's going on. And you will head. Okay, go on.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I realized that I still have Intimidate too. So like the 3 of us, standing around back to back, looking at this giant crowd of magistrate soldiers, and I say, like, unless you wish to meet your death at the hands of a Fuso samurai, a warrior monk, and a vicious bear, I suggest you lead us to where the house guard are being kept.
And we will do the montage where we cut to you cutting the lock off of the essentially the storehouse where the guards are kept, and the samurai of House Manabe will come out, and there's kind of a standoff, but they will move once they know where the lady of the house is. They will move to go and protect her, and we will cut from there. I'm going to do a quick montage here to kind of set things up for next time. Is this okay? You guys mind?
Definitely.
Can I say one thing about that? Maybe there was
absolutely.
Maybe there was like a person watching the fight and it was like a young girl in the fields or something. And Nyako takes that staff that the guy had, the gilded one or whatever, and throws it at the girl. And he's like, he didn't earn this, but maybe you will.
And then she went and beat her brother up. So she will head off with that. Yeah, there's that look, it's a nice heavy staff. Has that weight, beautifully made. You will break into the guest holdings where Magistrate Hiroi should be. And it will become quickly apparent that he has fled before you. You can piece together what has occurred. It looks like Magistrate Suzu came here and must have told him that there were a set of samurai adventurers who were looking into the matter with the burnt monastery, because you can imagine his panic, especially when he realized that one of them was, of the Green Mountain Nispa clan. And suddenly his plans did not look like they were going to work. But you can see that he's taken up the sword, taken Magistrate Suzu hostage and seems to have fled. But you will find some papers here, scribbled notes, letters, missives, and it looks like he has friends among the Han, and that perhaps he has fled there, hoping to bargain this magical item for his safety and safe passage. And maybe we'll cut to a scene with the three of you with Lady Manabe. She's looking over the papers that you've given her, the false evidence and the notes from Lord Horoi. And she will look at you and she will say, I can only give you my gratitude for saving me and our house from this usurper. I had known that he had designs on our lands, but I did not realize he would move to such desperate measures. Thank you for saving my Yojimbo from herself.
When spiritual items such as those swords are in play, people will go to drastic measures to seize power that they otherwise would have no interest in. Your guard, your Yojimbo is not to be blamed, of course, and even Horio, while his actions are impure and will not be tolerated, at least can be understood at some degree by the tempting nature of these blades.
I can not understand him. And to bring these blades out into the world, they are so dangerous. I must beseech you. I must ask you to pursue Horio, to retrieve that blade before it falls into foreign and dangerous hands. It is much to ask of you, but I beg you.
Of course. Of course we will do this.
She'll look at you, Naoko. She maybe still is a little sore from getting manhandled by you, but and you, Monk?
We will do this, and I hope that this does not sway your confidence in ruling your people. You seem like a just person.
I have made mistakes, but I have learned from them. And Lady Akiyama?
You, as ever, have the support of the Green Mountain clan and of this modest Kanushi who will not see the abuse of the spirits tolerated. He will be punished and he will be purified.
All right. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Next session, I'll give you, I'll let you raise something. We'll figure that out and we'll kind of frame that sequence up. But I wanted to stop there. Does that seem like a good stopping point? You guys cool with that?
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good stopping point.
Let's take a few minutes and do Roses and Thorns from this session and last. Want to start with Thorns first. We can talk system, talk the way I ran it. We can talk your play, somebody else play, however you want to do that. We do start with the Thorns. Let me talk a little bit about something that kind of was difficult for me last session. that I'm still trying to figure out. The scenario starts out with that investigation, and it has come to the monastery, and it's got these opportunities listed, but it's not great about explaining about how that's supposed to work with your raises, and sound like I'm supposed to say, hey, there are 3 opportunities here for you to find, and they look like this. Does anybody want to spend on them? Which feels a little artificial to me, a little weird. And I need to think about how investigations or information finding needs to work in this game. I don't think it's the strongest start to this scenario, and it's a little weird. So that's my thorn, is that the scenario has a very strange start to it, not the best. Fraser, thorns?
Yeah, the whatchamacallit, I'm having trouble with traits as well. I'm not super sure all the circumstances that I'm put in would apply to it, but maybe they're meant as a guide to like get you to play your character in a specific way and frame up what you're doing in a specific way, but it seems like it doesn't jive sometimes.
Yeah, the 7th Sea just has 5 specific traits that are pretty intelligible. It's like they wanted to do approaches from Fate Accelerated.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
that makes sense because Mark is Fate Accelerated, and he's spearheading this project too, right?
Yeah, but I don't think he's doing the design on. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know who does the design. That's true. I think he's just assembling the team, and then
yeah,
right.
Yeah, it does feel odd to me. The traits.
Yeah, because like
they feel like they're actually fit with the accusation that some people make about approaches, that they're too wishy-washy.
Yeah, well, because for instance, when I'm going after this guy and I wanted to hurt him, the only thing that kind of made sense was compassion, and that is strange for wanting to beat the crap out of a guy who hurt some monks, right? And then joy, probably not. Maybe. It'd be weird though. Peace, nope. Respect, definitely not. Wisdom, nope. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange. I agree with you. I think you're right on the money there.
And then I just read the reviews too, or not the reviews, the quick start today too, and it does sound like you're right. Like it said that the GM will say, if in this scene there are these many opportunities or whatever going on, and you can act on them and stuff. So it does seem strange. Like maybe you're supposed to be selective about it for each person, what they're saying that they're doing with their approach, maybe, but it is pretty ambiguous. That's for sure.
I still don't know. Matt, thorns?
Well, I'll back up a couple of the points you guys made there. I actually listened to Hannah Schaefer's interview with James Mendez about kind of developing the Khitai setting. And I get the idea that like the traits are a way to really push the players to reinforce the kind of cultural values and the sort of storytelling and media tropes that would come with, you know, Chinese and Japanese and Korean literature and fiction, as opposed to Western style media. I do think that, like, you know, there's 7 of them and we get 5 of them, and I think they went a little overboard with like pushing you towards doing that. But I kind of think that I kind of actually like it because it's making me think of ways to justify or to incorporate elements of a culture, of a person that exists within a culture that I don't know anything about. So I think it, you know, while it's not as like, you know, Fraser, you've written The Veil where it's about deciding on emotions, and I kind of draw a little bit of a parallel there, but instead of like an emotion wheel that's supposed to encompass anything you could possibly be feeling, it's reinforcing the kind of stereotypes of this style of fiction. So I actually kind of like it, but you know, I still see kind of the problems with it, because, you know, there's still not a lot of like depth there, and there's not like a lot of them have a lot of crossover and overlap. So it's kind of just like, I'm just going to pick one and then say something kind of like, I wish there was a way to get a little more out of it.
Okay.
Well, like even for instance, it says play this character if you want to solve your problems with rash action, and then my traits are compassion, joy, peace, respect, and wisdom.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And my character's supposed to be hot-headed and bold, and yeah, there's not a lot to go along with that. So I think you're on the point.
Rich Thorns?
Sorry, I just had one more.
Please.
Lo, I agree with your qualms about the initial scenario. I think that 7th Sea is asking a very different play style with how it wants you to kind of like set up the whole scene and then like narrate through it, right? Like, I guess the idea is that by establishing the potential consequences and opportunities, you're kind of giving the players fuel and prompts to take advantage of in their kind of dramatic narrating of how they move through these action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, like it's an investigation, right? Like they should start you with like a battle on a boat or something, and then the consequences and opportunities are these very straightforward, like, you know, the mast is starting to tip over, or you know, you can see a weapons cache or something, and like, you know, I think maybe it's supposed to more be about just like saying, here are things you could take advantage of in this scene, and then, you know, but we're used to letting the players just do that on their own, so maybe it's kind of a disconnect between the style there or something.
Yeah, it lacks a certain amount of stakes, and pressure, and it feels like, hey, we're going to start you out kind of wishy-washy, declarative.
Yeah.
Rich Thorns.
So, I hit a point with traits where I was just like, they're either 2s or 3s. I'm not going to give a shit anymore. Like, literally, I'm like, we're in a fight sequence. How do I? It's not worth the mental effort. Like, I'm either going to get her 2 or 3. I'm just going to come up with whatever comes off the top of my head and try to fit a skill. Some of these skills are hard to use in the story that we're like, when am I going to use aim? We don't ride anything. I haven't even seen a damn horse. So, like, these are pre-generated characters designed for this adventure. And why? I guess we have points that we need to spend to make them well-rounded. I don't know. There's just a lot of bits that I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to care about this anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. I want to care, but I realized probably not worth the mental effort of caring about which trait I'm going to use here, because it's either 2 dice or 3 dice. Like, and there's this other thing, and it's fun in 7th Sea core that you're rolling a bunch of dice because it's all about like, let's build it to the cool action sequences. But in Khitai, and part of this is me, I'll get to it in a sec. In Khitai, I'm expecting like more complexity to decisions than I'm just gonna jump off of this fucking light and like, whoa, let's grab some shit and like go down a curtain, and like, that's not what I think of when I came into Khitai. And again, this is the part where I get to it. I expected this to be John Wick does Legend of the Five Rings. It's not that. I've readjusted my expectations a bit because it's not that. Like, there can be aspects of it, but because there's so many different other cultures that are being mixed in, you can't come in expecting to see a bunch of katana wielding guys. I think you've done a great job of having that as a flavor, but I don't necessarily think that the rule set wants that. It doesn't feel that way to me, that it wants it for that to be that important.
Yeah, you know, that's a really interesting observation, because I mean, one of the things that makes L5R, besides all the crunchy bits to it, is L5R is super dangerous.
Yeah, it's not dangerous at all.
Yeah, because it's about the heroic thing, and I like the way the system works, but it isn't L5R. It isn't, and I think that is a cognitive dissonance that I have to get past as well. I like it for that. So
yeah, I'm okay with it. Honestly, I feel like Naoko was much better suited for the rule set and doing cool. Let's not say Matrix. Let's say Wuxia. But that kind of stuff worked really well. Like it was peanut butter and jelly. Well, my son's allergic to peanuts, but for me, PB and J, baby, it like mixed up. It was awesome. So there was that. And I also, just as a thorn, I'm going to thorn on myself. I got a little upset earlier because I had one advantage, and I was like, "There's only one time I'm going to get to use this advantage, and it's right now." And then it didn't happen, and I got. I'll be honest, I got pissed. I'm like, shit. I only have a few of these. This is the one time when I show up and ask for hospitality, and like, nope, we're not going to ask for hospitality. I got kind of washed over, and I got a little upset about that. Oh, overreacted. So I apologize, but that was what was going on in my head. I'm like, oh man, I just get the one shot where we go to a guy's house, and like, this is a module, so I know it's the only time I'm going to get it, and it's just been snatched out away from me. So, thorn on me for putting way more importance on that than I should have.
I've done that too many times to mention. Well, let's do roses. So I love wushu. I love the samurai stuff. This definitely leans more into wushu. It leans more into, quite honestly, I've run a lot of L5R, but I've never run it with the L5R system. I've run it with action cards and with Rollmaster and with Storyteller and with Fate, all done much more towards the wushu. Let's get in a bunch of fights and cool shit happens, rather than and now my blade will cut you in half. So I'm kind of digging it for the looseness. I still have some problems with the system, but I love that you guys can kick people's asses, in that kind of way, even though there's still some danger, and could get really hairy after a while. So I like that. I do like the characters that they built. There are some problems with the pre-gens, but I love the ideas of these characters. So
yeah, I agree.
Fraser, roses.
Well, both sessions I think were really great. I think this module is definitely built towards my character, because I basically used everything on my sheet between this session and next, or the previous session and this one. So yeah, I got to do a lot of cool shit and use my hero points to just be like, and now I do something amazing. So that worked well. And yeah, I really liked that. I could be like, I like this image that in this fight, this person was about to hit Rich's character, and I could like intervene, and then we just kind of made the rules work around that, and it wasn't that difficult.
Oh yeah, I love that moment.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and yeah, just everyone was really on point, and it was really fun, and I think it was like a blessing in disguise that we were down one person, because we all got to do like lots of cool stuff, and it was a cool story.
Agreed. Matt, any roses?
Yeah, I think system-wise, I do like, the cinematic nature. I don't have hardly any experience with any kind of like wuxia style games, but I've seen some Avatar, and it had some of the images in my mind and stuff. So this it let me get some of that stuff out. I think that there is an interesting resource management thing to be had here with a little more system mastery, maybe. And I think it's starting to sing a little bit more when we realize, the things we can spend raise on, and like I'm figuring out how opportunities work and stuff. I really like the teamwork aspect, and I want to kind of like push that. I thought it was super cool when we pooled our dice together and we got to, decide our actions together. And if there was even more interplay, I think that would be even cooler, because that's kind of what this style help is about a little bit, or supports well, I think.
Yeah, I love that you get more for spending points on other people than you do if you spend it on yourself. I love that.
Yeah. And at first I was like, we've already rolled our dice. Like, how do I help people in the middle of an action sequence? But realizing that you do it at the beginning makes sense. I kind of wish there were other ways to kind of interact, even after we've rolled our dice, like pass around our raises, and like, I want to be setting more opportunities, but I think that stuff is possible once you kind of learn how to twist all the knobs and dials. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. And then just as far as the game goes, had a ton of fun so far. You guys are great at describing, you know, kick-ass action stuff. Lol, I noticed that one thing I really liked is that you gave our characters like the dignity that they deserved, kind of, or like you treated them like the heroes, kind of like each of our characters had our own thing, and you made that apparent in the fiction through the NPCs' reactions to stuff. And I think that was really, really cool. I know the module isn't, you know, perfect, but I think you've done a really good job of, you know, every time we push on to the new objective, using your just GM foundational skills to kind of still set up those stakes and set up those tensions and kind of like give us chances to do our cool thing, which I've really liked. So I've had a lot of fun just jumping around and doing cool and the spiritual stuff, the mysticism, right? Like you being lenient on that and kind of letting me go a little crazy with the Kamoi stuff has been great. So yeah, everyone's been killing it.
Rich, you get last word tonight.
No, it's crazy. I'll echo what Matt said about Fraser. I really enjoyed the portrayal of Naoko. I appreciate you committing to a gender. No, I'm joking. That's a callback to the last game. And like misgendering and the confusion and all this stuff. Sorry, bad joke. No, I appreciate the commitment to the intensity of Naoko and how you went after the guy. Oh, do I recognize this guy? That was good. That was a good cue for like, oh, it's on for the lieutenants. That was very exciting. And the cool wall run stuff, very Jackie Chan. Super in the wushu wuxia style. I loved that. That was brilliant, fun. Lowell, one of my favorite, and I'm just gonna assume this isn't the module so that I can give you the full credit. But there was this moment when, like, we're over here. Akiyama and Ishikawa are over fighting the Yojimbo, and maybe Naoko doesn't have anything to do. Oh no, wait. Here's a fire about to start. Oh, like that was the perfect, like, let's tilt the scene a little bit. And it was really 7C swashbuckle, like, let's amp it up a little bit in a way that's like, oh, exactly how are you going to deal with this? Because it's like Fraser said, it's fire in a paper house with
Yes.
wood. You're screwed. I thought that was really, really amusing. And Matt, I liked a lot of the spirit stuff that you were drawing in, being very creative. It was neat. All in all, while during Thorns I was very passionate, did overall had a good time tonight.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. We're going to do another session next time. And I'm going to make sure I definitely take a look at people's characters and see what we can pull in on those, and play a little bit with that. Maybe we'll see another place. We'll see the Han a little bit and do some stuff there. And I'm going to stop the broadcast then.